and welcome back to my channel. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Becky and I cover true crime cases. I've literally woken up like 20 minutes ago. I've got my coffee next to me. Look, it's a sausage dog. It says it's been a long day. I wanted to come on and say hi, even though I look half asleep. I just wanted to say, like, I'm sorry if I sound a little bit nasally or a little bit congested. Hay fever has got me in a chokehold this year, and I've taken an antihistamine and it's still not working. So I just wanted to come on and say sorry. Let's get into the video. Today's video is extremely graphic, but it is a more historical case. You guys were saying that you wanted more of those, so here we are. It is a little bit graphic though, so I do apologize. I'll put everything that it mentions here. Might be a bit of a graphic description, so I'm warning you of that as well. But just so you're prepared. Hopefully I'll see you around my channel or Instagram or anything in the future. Just feel free to subscribe if you want to. It's your choice. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. So today's case, we are going to be talking about the Papin sisters. The Papin sisters came from a troubled family in France. Their mother was Clemence and their father was Gustave. It was rumoured that Clemence was having an affair with her boss. However, Gustave refused to believe this as he loved her very much. In October 1901, Clemence became pregnant. Gustave had to marry her due to the time period. Their first child, Amelia, arrived in February 1902, but Gustave had always wondered if Clemence was really having an affair, and he decided he would get a job in another town and move the family away from Le Mans. About 2 years after Amelia was born, Gustave announced that he was taking a new job in a different town. Clemence was not happy about this and threatened to commit suicide rather than leave, and this only served to strengthen Gustave's suspicion that she was having an affair. However, the couple did move and started a new life. Their relationship was becoming more volatile, and reports indicate that Clemence showed no affection for her children or husband. She's remarked to be very, very distant and a very unstable individual. Gustave turned to alcohol and became an alcoholic. When Amelia was just 9 or 10 years old, Clemence sent her to the Bon Pasteur Catholic orphanage, and later information surfaced that her father had raped Amelia. Amelia later joined a convent and became a nun. Christine was the second child and born in 1905. It was stated that she was a difficult child, and due to the mother's depression and the father's alcoholism, they could not properly care for her. Clemence and Gustave gave Christine to Gustave's sister, who was happy to have her. Christine remained with her aunt for 7 years, which then she entered a Catholic orphanage. Although Christine wanted to join the convent, her mother would not allow it, and later placed her into employment. Christine had an average intelligence and a strong personality. She was known to be paranoid, and it was believed that she had suffered with bad trauma from her upbringing. Her employers had reported that she could be rude at times. However, she was a hard worker and was known as a good cook. Léa was born in 1911, and she was the final child of Clemence and Gustave. Evaluations indicated that Léa was slightly lower intelligence than Christine, and she was known to be introverted, quiet, nervous, and very obedient. From infancy, Léa grew up with her uncle until he passed away, and then she went into a religious orphanage until she was 15 years old. Christine and Léa were now working. Clemence would make the sisters change jobs frequently, as she would find a job that would offer better pay. All of the income that the sisters earned went straight into Clemence's pocket. In 1926, Christine found a job as a maid and cook for the Lancelin family. Monsieur Lancelin was a retired lawyer. He lived with his wife Leonie and their adult daughter Genevieve. They also had a second daughter, however she was married and had moved away. After a few months, Christine persuaded the family to hire Léa as a chambermaid. The sisters, by most accounts, were good girls and model housemaids. Every Sunday they dressed up and attended church. Each day they had a 2-hour break after lunch, and instead of going out to enjoy the day, they stayed in their bedrooms. Christine and Léa preferred their own company over that of others. Sometimes they would visit a fortune teller who had told them that in a past life, the sisters were actually a man and woman who were married. The Lancelin family could not believe how lucky they were with the sisters. They were good workers, and the family did not need to worry about them going off and finding another job, or going dancing at a weekend, or even finding a husband. The sisters were guaranteed a stable household without the threat of being sent to an orphanage or a random relative. They were well fed, clothed, housed, and paid. The family and the sisters got on very well at the beginning. Leonie even stood up for the sisters when she found out that Clemence was taking all of their income. Leonie helped the sisters put a stop to this. However, the Lancelin family began to only care for the sisters on a physical level. The family were said to be very detached from the girls and treated them with the same lack of attention as their parents. Despite working with the Lancelin family for years, Monsieur Lancelin never spoke to either of the women. If they were being spoken to, it was only about their work. Leonie was a real stickler for a job well done. She would put on her white gloves to check for dust and regularly gave feedback about Christine's cooking and made Léa go back and clean when she had missed a spot. Leonie ended up being physically abusive towards the sisters if they hadn't done their jobs up to Leonie's standards. By 1933, the sisters had been with the Lancelins for 6 years. Christine was 27 and Léa was 21. On February 2nd of that year, Leonie and Genevieve arrived home around 5:30. They found the house in darkness. It was the second time in that week that the iron had caused an electrical fuse to blow. Oddly, the iron had just been returned that day from the repairman, who said he could not find anything wrong with it. When Christine informed Leonie that the iron had broke again, Leonie lost it. She was extremely angry and a dispute broke out. Christine snapped. At the top of the stairs, on the first floor landing, Christine hit Leonie over the head with a pewter jug, knocking her to the floor. Genevieve came to see what was going on and immediately attacked Christine. Christine lunged at Genevieve and tore her eyes out with her fingers. Léa quickly joined in the struggle to help her sister, and Christine ordered Léa to gouge out Leonie's eyes. Then Christine ran downstairs to the kitchen and grabbed a knife and a hammer. She then proceeded back upstairs, where both of the sisters bludgeoned and sliced the mother and daughter. Experts estimate that the incident lasted about 30 minutes. Leonie and Genevieve were supposed to meet Monsieur Lancelin for dinner. However, when they did not arrive, he returned home to look for his family. Monsieur Lancelin found the home in complete darkness, locked and painfully silent. With police assistance, he was able to gain access into the home. After entering the house, the police climbed the stairs and found a grisly scene. Most of the injuries were on the faces and heads of the victims. However, the daughter's legs and buttocks revealed deep knife lacerations. Both women were horribly unrecognizable, as their faces had been completely demolished. Teeth had scattered about the room, and one of Genevieve's eyes lay on the top stair. Investigators later found the other eye under her body. Leonie's eyes were found hidden in her neck scarf that she was wearing. Leonie was lying on her back with her legs apart and only one shoe on. Genevieve's body was facing down. Next to her right hip lay a bloody kitchen knife with a dark handle. Blood covered the entire scene and had even splattered upon the walls 2 meters above the bodies. The investigators had initially found the victims with their skirts up and their underwear pulled down. However, during this time in France, it was highly improper to take crime scene photos or just photos in general with genitalia exposed. After the police discovered the bodies, they had to search the rest of the house. In their minds, they all wondered if the killer had done the exact same thing to the sisters. The police went up to the upper level where the sisters' room was. The door was locked, and when they eventually got it open, the sisters were lying in bed together. Some sources say they had their robes on, and some sources say they were completely nude, and they were under the covers. Next to the bed, on a chair, lay the bloody hammer with bits of hair stuck to it. When the police asked them what had happened, the sisters immediately confessed to the crime. The police arrested the sisters and took them into custody. Christine became distressed and exhibited desperate fits when the police separated the girls. Eventually, the authorities allowed a meeting between the sisters, and reportedly, Christine behaved and spoke in a way that implied a sexual relationship. The court appointed 3 doctors to administer psychological evaluations to the sisters. This was to determine whether or not they were sane. Christine exhibited coldness towards the world and that she had no attachments except from Léa. The doctors reported that Christine's affection for her sister was only of family devotion, and they did not detect any kind of sexual context within their relationship. On the other hand, Léa looked up to Christine as a big sister or a mother figure. The evaluation came back stating that the sisters had no pathological mental disorders and that they were completely sane. They also indicated that their unusually close bond caused the girls to act out together, meaning they're both equally responsible for the murder. At the trial, the jurors took only 40 minutes to deliberate. Of course, they found Christine and Léa guilty. Léa received a 10-year prison sentence, and Christine was to face the guillotine. However, that sentence was commuted to life in prison. Without her sister, Christine did not fare well in prison. She completely broke down and became severely depressed, eventually refusing to eat at all. Prison officials transferred her to a mental institution. However, Christine continued to starve herself until she passed away in May 1937. Léa, on the other hand, demonstrated exemplary behavior and only served 8 years of her 10-year sentence. In 1941, she became a free woman. She lived with her mother in France under an assumed name and worked in hotel housekeeping. On some accounts, it says that Léa died in 1982. However, it is also argued that Léa had suffered a stroke and was partially paralyzed and unable to speak, and that she was actually living in a hospice center in France, where she passed away in 2001. Well, that was certainly a lot to take in, but that is the end of today's video. I hope everybody is staying happy, healthy, and safe. And remember, you've got this and you're doing your absolute best. And let me know what you thought of today's video. Thanks, bye!